You're watching Every Day to Saturdays, USCC veteran. Let's go, baby. And here's your host, Brian. What's going on, friends and fam? We are back for another season. Welcome to season 3. And before we get started, I want to start off by thanking each and every one of you guys for tuning in and watching the show, liking the show, and making the show keep going. And here we are. I'm here for another season, another year, and super excited for it. A couple little things before we get going. Just want to let you guys know, started producing and now producing 2 different shows. One is called Hero Stock Nation. The other one is called Sick Call with Doc. So you're going to have to check those ones out. I'll give you a little bit of a commercial for Sick Call with Doc. We haven't gotten that far with Hero Stock Nation, but here you can check out Sick Call with Doc real quick.
Welcome to Sick Call with Doc, a podcast dedicated to eradicating veteran suicide. With 22 veterans lost every day, we believe that's 22 too many. Join us as we bring you inspiring stories, heartfelt conversations, and a community that cares. Because no matter what, you are not alone. We were there for you then, and we're here for you now. Follow, like, and share our mission. Together, we can make a difference. Inspiring hope, saving lives.
By the time that airs, they'll be on their 2nd season. They already getting ready to film their last episode. They did 10 for the first season, and they're going to keep on going. They're really enjoying it, and they're definitely bringing some great education and things that I think a lot of people have had a misunderstanding or, maybe been educated a different way. So it's kind of great to hear from veterans who kind of bring it down to a level that you'll understand and do some great things. Also, we have a new segment called Coffee Talk with Brian. And that's kind of where you guys get to know me a little bit better. We're going to talk about certain things, mental health. I already done 3 episodes, recorded them. And the first one was kind of about mental health and stuff like that. And the second one was kind of about how can you combat mental health, at least the things I'm doing, that are working for me, and other things that I've heard from others. And then I also tell some real funny stories that had happened to me, so you get to laugh at my expense. But you know what? This is going to be the first interview for this season. We're going to be doing, this is interview 106. Can't believe it. And you know what? What better way to start the season off than with a Marine veteran? This next guy, I got to meet him through Facebook. I saw that he was a graphic designer and a Marine. So I thought, hell, I'll hit him up, and see what he's got to do. And I thought he'd come on here and tell his story and what he's got going on. We have Dan Zimmerman. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Brian?
Hey, man, welcome to Every Day to Saturday, man. I'm happy to have you on the show and tell us all about who you are, bro, and where you grew up, what made you become a badass Marine, and what do you got going on now today?
Hey, first off, I appreciate you having me on the show, brother. Always happy to put the word out and share my experiences, and hopefully it'll inspire some future devil dogs out there who want to take the oath and step on those yellow footprints one day.
Hell yeah, there's a lot that they can learn from us now, right? And I think that's an important part of why we come on here and tell our stories and talk about our experiences and, kind of give those next generations a little bit of a outlook that we never had, really, you know what I mean? Besides maybe Full Metal Jacket or something like that.
It's funny you talk about that, man. I actually have a funny story concerning that movie, but we'll get to that later. Grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, and when I was going through high school, I always had an interest in the military and history, and that stemmed from my father, who was in the Army during Vietnam, and his twin brother also in the Army during Vietnam. They were drafted. My uncle was sent over there, and he did one tour, came back, Bronze Star recipient. So I thought that was very cool. And growing up, we always watched the old John Wayne movies and all the war movies every Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and all that. So it became a big interest for me. And I also had a very big interest in art. Growing up, collected comic books and always drew scenes from the comic books and tried to get better each year as I continued to grow up, and taking all kinds of art classes throughout high school and uh, grade school before that. But as I got to my junior year, I was really getting tired of the school aspect, and college was not appealing to me. And I decided I want to take a different path. And originally, first recruiter I went to was actually the Army. Wanted to give them a shot since it was kind of in the bloodline and all that. But after talking with them, and my father actually came with me to that meeting to talk to the Army recruiter. And after we heard his spiel, we both walked out of that office. We looked at each other and said, yeah, I was not impressed with that. And he agreed. So back to the drawing board. And I talked to my best friend in high school at the time, and he told me he was going to join the Marine Corps. And he said, wouldn't it be cool if we go to boot camp together? I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But, Marines are badasses, man. I was a scrawny little kid, 5'11", about 120 pounds soaking wet. So I didn't know what Marine boot camp would do to me. And at the time, I had a cousin who was going through the Marines, and I got to hear all the stories of what it was like and what he was enduring. And it's like, I don't know if that's for me or not, but you know what? Let's give it a shot and hear what the Marine recruiter has to say. And to this day, I can still picture it in my head. The day he came over to my house and sat down at my parents' dinner table with mom and dad there, and he did his whole spiel about what the Marines can do for me, what they offer, and answered every question we had. And one thing that always stuck out with me, he probably talked for close to an hour, hour and a half, and the guy never asked for a drink of water. He just kept doing his thing. And when he walked out that night, I was like, that's what I want to be. I want to be able to carry myself like that, present myself like that, and have that kind of confidence. And that kind of started my journey into the Marine Corps. After I graduated high school, I went down to Paris Island, and fittingly, when I arrived on the island, I flew down to, Beaufort, South Carolina, and it was November 9th. And as you know, when you arrive on the island, it's after midnight. So I started my Marine Corps career November 10th, 1992, on the freaking Marine Corps
Shit.
birthday.
Wow. That's
And,
interesting. That's kind of cool.
and a funny story that goes along with that, when you get off the bus and you're standing those footprints and you go into the receiving barracks and you're sitting there still in your civilian clothes, filling out one paperwork after another. I remember sitting in those school chairs that they have in there, and there were two desks in the front of the room, and there were, I guess, two Lance Corporals sitting there, and they're filling out stuff and all that. And then walks this full bird colonel. Walks up to the one Lance Corporal, he shakes his hand and says, hey, happy birthday, Marine. And then he walks over to the other one, he shakes his hand and says, hey, happy birthday, Marine. And I had absolutely no clue that it was the Marine Corps birthday. I thought this guy knew his men that well, and I thought, what the hell are the odds that these two Marines have the same freaking birthday?
Oh, shit.
Of course, later, as you're learning all Marine Corps history and all that, you know about the birthday, and then it clicked with me what actual day we arrived there on the island. But yeah, that was a very interesting opening to my Marine Corps career, and I always tell people it's pretty wild that I actually started on the birthday, and it doesn't get any
That
more.
is wild.
That doesn't get any more freaking hardcore than that, man.
No, that's actually really cool. Like I said, you get to celebrate the birthday and your
Started my career.
your anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm a Hollywood Marine, so I didn't get to go to good old Paris Island. So, kind of tell me a little bit about your experience at Paris Island. I heard all about these sand fleas, but it sounds like you kind of went to the end of the year. I don't know if there's a certain time of year where the sand fleas are worse than others, or was it cold when you were, going through boot camp, or?
Oh, I will tell you this. I did not know it got that cold in South Carolina. And also, I swear to God, those sand fleas are not of this world because they were still biting us in November and December. I don't think they
So
ever
I guess they
hibernated.
don't take any breaks, huh?
No, they don't take any breaks. They know there's feasts out there whenever you're standing out there in formation, and they're going to eat. In fact, the DIs always used to yell at us, "Stop scratching, let them eat. They need to feed too."
Oh shit. Yeah, see, I think I would struggle with the itching part, man. I mean, I had an itch on my face in boot camp and couldn't resist it. So the fucking sand fleas biting me would be
Well, it's all
another
a question
thing.
on what you want more. Do you want to scratch that itch, or do you want to have that 200-pound gorilla screaming in your face because you moved in formation?
Yeah, that's the hard part because after a couple ass chewings, you kind of makes you change your way a little bit.
Oh yeah, and they will weed out the non-hackers. That's for sure.
There's no doubt there.
No,
That's
but I remember
100%.
back before this whole crucible thing. I'm sure you did it too. You go through what they call basic warrior training. I don't know if that
I
was
actually, I went through. I had to do the Crucible in the
okay.
year 2000. When I went through boot camp was the year 2000, and we did the whole Crucible thing.
Okay, but before they had the crucible, they had what they called basic warrior training. It was a week in the field, and they taught you all the infantry tactics, patrolling, going through obstacle
Well,
courses.
we still have that, but
Yeah,
it's
they just
before the
changed the name
Crucible,
of it.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but
Field. It's like Field Week for us or something. What they called it. I
pretty
can't
much
remember.
the same
Yeah.
concept. They just decided to give it a cooler name. But I remember when we went out to the field, it was January and it was not cold enough to snow, but it rained and it rained a lot. And our bivouac got washed out. All the courses we had to go through, climbing underneath barbed wire and all that good stuff. There was just enough water in there where you were basically swimming and had,
Swimming.
yep,
Huh?
yep. And
Swimming through the course.
then you get out of there and then they tell you, okay, now clean your rifle because it's full of mud,
Oh
crust, and all
gosh,
that other
yeah.
crap. I remember after we got out, I was sitting there and I don't even think I had to scrub everything because I was shivering so much. My brush was moving on its own. I just held it there against the rifle and it was cleaning the dirt off itself.
I bet you guys' fingers were feeling like they were going to fall off.
It wasn't the only thing we were afraid it was going to fall off.
Yeah, no shit.
Up until that point in my life, I think that was the most miserable I've ever been. That was definitely a time where it was like, okay, this is what it's all about. You need to reach down, grab hold, and drive on because they're not going to have any mercy on you. And Mother Nature sure didn't have any mercy on us then.
Yeah, Marine Corps has a way of really making you feel fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, that is no doubt, man. That is no doubt. I swear to God, sometimes I think they have a deal with Mother Nature. It's just how bad can we mess with these guys and how uncomfortable can we make them?
Yeah, sheesh. Yeah, because the climate definitely, at least, when you're on San Diego side, you might get some rain and stuff like that, but you definitely, it doesn't get super cold. It stays pretty relatively around the same temperature.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the nice thing about doing the West Coast versus the East Coast. I know for sure you guys deal with a lot more of the elements when it's, in terms of when it gets cold, because when it gets hot, in San Diego even. So,
Oh yeah.
but you guys, the humidity and shit too, right?
Right. When my cousin went through boot camp, he did it over the summertime. And when he heard I was joining, he told me, whatever you do, don't go down to Paris Island over the summer. First of all, it's hot as balls down there. And also the sand fleas are even more vicious.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I could only imagine. And then you're sweating your ass off on top of it.
Yeah. And I didn't have enough pounds on me to lose any of that.
Would
So
they
yeah,
make you like a double meal rat, man? Like
no, they
we
didn't give me that, but I definitely ate my share whenever I could. And between all the PT and all that, I put on some muscle, but uh, I can look back on that now and laugh at some of the stupid shit that they had us do. I mean, at the time, you're hating life and just starting to question, why did I ever decide to do this to myself? But,
oh yeah.
all this time down the road, you're just like, man, that was some really stupid shit they made us do. And you just got to laugh at it. the DIs that we had, I can still remember every single one of their names. And one of them used to boast about how they had more games than Milton Bradley to put on us.
That's no lie. That's no lie. I used to say the same thing. So I mean, they for sure had. I said more games than Mattel though. So, but damn, dude, they definitely. There's no joke when it comes to games, and they found a way to play fuck games. Even when I made it to Fleet, we still my first unit. It was kind of like being in boot camp, living in the barracks there. They were horrible with us and shit. That company gunning would make us do the worst fucking field days I could ever imagine. But yeah,
when the new guys come in, fresh meat, baby.
Oh yeah, the fucking hazing was a thing.
It built character.
Hell yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, anytime you made it to a new unit, you were definitely getting messed with.
Oh, absolutely. I know I got messed with my first couple units I went to, but that's just how it was. And then once you stop being the new guy and
You're
other guys
messing
came
with
in,
fools now. Next, you're the one sending them to the gunny to go do something. Go get the ID 10T card or
get
something.
the ID 10T form. Go get a box of grid squares.
Go get the key to the Humvee. All the things.
Go over to the armory, get a can of backblast.
Yeah. What MOS did you end up choosing?
When I first joined, I ended up doing security forces, and I was stationed on an aircraft carrier, USS Eisenhower, down in Norfolk. But
so, did you have to go to School of Infantry right after? You go to SOI?
Yep. I did SOI first. So I went there and became a machine gunner, 0331, and still miss that 50 cal, man. I hated carrying that son of a bitch, but let me tell you, there wasn't a gun that was more fun to fire than that one.
That motherfucker's heavy, yeah, boy. And
hey, carrying it 20 miles, man, let me tell you, that bitch gets heavy as hell.
Yeah. That's why they usually have someone carry the one piece and the other someone carry the other piece.
Yeah, we had it broke down 3-man team. One guy carried the barrel, one guy carried the receiver, and then one guy carried the tripod.
Yeah.
And then you do one leg, and then when you take a break, switch it up, and then everybody gets a new piece, and then just keep on going that way so no one gets screwed with the receiver the whole way.
What year did you join?
92.
92.
Yeah, and graduated February 5th, 93 from boot camp, and then we had MCT back then, which was Marine Combat Training, which every Marine was required to go to, which was basically just a infantry school. And we that were going to SOI after, we were like, why the hell do we have to go through
so
this?
They sent you did both?
Yeah, they sent us to both. It was required.
Well, I guess you have to learn, what the support guys do, huh?
Yeah. Well, it was basically 11 shit, basic patrolling and building fighting holes and land.
Oh yeah, I remember that shit because I went to MCT. So
yeah. Build me an L-shaped fighting hole. Nope.
Yeah, and then we have to draw our fucking our range of fire.
Get your range cards out there.
Yeah,
and put your range stakes in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the stakes.
Absolutely,
shit. Then we had to draw it up and then give it to fucking it was whoever, the corporal or sergeant.
Yeah, whoever was just counting his days to get out of the Corps, that's where they send him to be an instructor.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, after MCT, went to SOI, and all this was down in Camp Lejeune. And after School of Infantry, then I went to Security Forces School down in Chesapeake, Virginia. And that's when I went to my first duty station, which was the USS Eisenhower. And I stationed on there for 2 years and did a med float and got to see some of the world and was kind of cool.
How were your sea legs, bro?
Let me tell you, the first time we went out to sea, it messed me up pretty well. But the guys that were already on the boat taught me a trick. They're like, go up to the hangar bay and just stare out and just watch the horizon and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it worked. We were good to go after that. But the 20-year-old kid sailing halfway around the world, seeing places I'd only ever seen on TV and read in books. I thought it was pretty wild.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, so you got to do how far did you, how many stops did you guys do?
I think we hit 7 ports.
Damn, 7 ports,
Yeah,
dude. That's that's a
yeah,
good time then, man. They let you get off and they give you guys a little limo on each
yeah,
port,
we got
or no?
a couple days and nights there. The only thing
No
that
one
sucked.
fucked it over for anybody. I'm surprised.
Hmm, I
I'm
can't
not gonna
remember,
say
but
that,
I'm sure
right?
somebody had a bit too much fun. But
Yeah.
the only thing that sucked about it is that we were over there from October to April, so we were going over there in the wintertime.
Ah,
And with all those ports we were hitting their, beaches and all that kind of stuff, no one was laying out on the beaches when we were there. So it was a little disappointing, but it made up for the fact that over in Europe, drinking age was 18.
oh well, you guys took advantage
Oh,
of this shit. Hell yeah.
oh, we fully took advantage of that. And let me tell you, there's still some ports I can't fully remember everything that happened,
Yeah,
but
that sounds about
hey,
right.
it happens.
Yeah, you know what? If you can remember all of your Marine Corps career, you're not a Marine. You know
You
what I
didn't do it
mean?
right.
You didn't do it right.
Nope.
Exactly.
You missed
Uh,
out on some fun.
Shit. Oh man, I remember picking up corporal. I went to some bar and got destroyed, and I hated life. Yeah,
And,
good times.
oh, yeah. Wouldn't change them for the world.
No, for sure. So after you did all that, man, where did they send you after you got off the ship?
Yeah, down to 3-8 in Camp Lejeune. I was down there to finish out my 4 years of active duty. Actually, did a deployment over to Liberia uh,
Oh,
during my time there. There was a MEU over there sitting up at the U.S. Embassy because of the civil war that was going on over there at the time, and some of the rebels were getting a little ornery and taking shots at the embassy compound. So they put a MEU in there to quell that. But it was time for them to come back home. And little did I know that our battalion was the one on deck. And we got sent over there on a slow boat to Africa and sat over there for about close to 3 months in the summer of '96. And let me tell you, while we were going over there, they gave us all kinds of briefings on what was happening and giving us videos of people chopping heads off and putting them on tables in the middle of the street, and it was
damn.
looking like a bloodbath over there. And I'll never forget. They heloed us off the boat. We're flying in, and we land at the compound. We pull all our gear off, and of course, we're carrying the 50 cals and all the gear we can carry. I mean, we're carrying shit that weighs more than me. And we have our designated spots where we need to go to. And mine was in a house that had a balcony that overlooked the road that went parallel to the entire compound. And we're dragging our stuff up there, and we get up, look out on the street, and it looks like a Sunday morning anywhere in the US. There's people walking up and down the street, kids playing. And the Marines that were there that we were going to relieve, we asked him, where's the war? He goes, man, let me tell you, we haven't heard a shot fired in weeks. And we just looked at each other like, this is going to suck. They were happy to see us because they got to go home, but we sat there from May to about August. And let me tell you, we never heard a shot fired in anger the whole time we were there. We had 2 4-hour shifts and
Bored to tears or what?
bored to freaking tears.
Oh
Me,
gosh.
me and my gunner were sitting behind a 50 cal. I think our shift was noon to 4 and midnight to 4.
Just like waiting for a fucking cat to move at this point, huh? Like
Just
fucking I wish you would, motherfucker.
just waiting for anything, man. Uh, but we became really good at quoting movies to each other while we were sitting up on post just to pass the time and to stay awake, especially during those late night shifts. I think at one point, me and my gunner, I still remember his name was David Ferry. He was a good guy and a good machine gunner. We could probably quote Tombstone and Full Metal Jacket verbatim, back to front and front to back.
That shit's hilarious. Those were pretty popular movies too. In the
Oh yeah,
Marines watched those
absolutely.
movies a lot in the barracks.
Oh, back in the day when we had VHS and you could wear out the tape.
Yeah, bro. VHS problems. People don't know about it.
No, they don't know
Uh,
about those problems anymore.
uh,
But after we got back, I had a decision to make because it was coming to the end of my enlistment. I decided to use the GI Bill and go to college because I liked the idea of getting a college education, and I still wanted to pursue a career as an graphic designer, but I didn't want to totally get out of the Marine Corps, so I dropped to the reserves and went to a small state school up in Pennsylvania, Kutztown University. While I was going through the reserves, I joined a unit up in Harrisburg. It was Echo Company, 2nd Battalion, 25th Marines. It's another grunt unit, so it fit well for me. And they were maybe 2.5 hours from campus. So it wasn't too bad of a drive when I had to go over there for drill weekends. And, sometimes it was good because we go to a live fire range that weekend and all the bullshit I was putting up with at school and all that from some professor that was pissing me off. I took it out at the range. When you have a good imagination, those targets down range can become anything.
expert shooter right away, bro.
Especially when you're working belt fed, man. You get out a lot of aggression really fast.
Mm-hmm. That part I miss a lot too. Is just shooting some fun weapons, man. Just unleashing some lead down range.
Oh, absolutely. But uh, definitely enjoyed college more the way I did it. If I would have went right out of high school, I know I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much because like I said, I was tired of school and
You had more
needed a
probably
change.
appreciation for it then, because you
Yeah,
had went and fucking experienced some hardcore shit. Being in the Marine Corps.
exactly. It used to make me laugh all the time when I heard my classmates complaining about having to get up for an 8 o'clock class or complain about the food at the chow hall or how small the dorm rooms were. I'm just like, shook my head and like, you guys have no clue. I could tell
Like
you
I only
stories.
wish we could get to somewhere at 8 o'clock in the morning. I might be able to get to somewhere at 8 o'clock after I already went to PT for at 05 in the morning.
Yeah, it was definitely greater appreciation for what I had and what I had done and what I was going through at the time. Uh, but when I was getting ready to graduate in 2001, 9/11 happened right before then, and we found out our reserve unit was getting spun up and we're going to go on active duty. So 2 weeks pretty much after I graduated college, I was back in uniform full time again.
Oh no shit. After graduating?
Yep,
Wow.
yep. And we went down to Campbell's June again. I swear to God, that place has a way of just sucking you back. It doesn't matter how long it's been, it will get you back there somehow, some way. But we went down there in January of '02 and basically trained all year. We were actually expecting to get shipped off to Afghanistan or even Guantanamo to help out down there, but they kept us CONUS the whole time. We did some desert trading out at Fort Irwin, some mountain warfare training out at Bridgeport, and days and days of training just in Lejeune. Never left. And
Wow.
when they were getting ready to send us home in December, and right before we headed out, we had a company school circle outside of our barracks, and we had a very special speaker come and talk to us. Freaking Chaos Actual himself, General Mattis.
No shit.
And he said, "You guys right now are the best trained battalion in the Marine Corps." And he said, "When I need you, I'm calling you up." And let me tell you, he was a man of his word because in February, we got the phone call again and they're like, "Pack your shit. We're going to Kuwait."
Shit. So they sent you guys off into now you're going for sure this
Yeah.
time, huh?
Yeah. We actually were questioning, like, are we actually going this time or is this just going to be another tell our
Hurry up
parents
and
and
wait
our
type
family we're
shit.
leaving again? and
Yeah.
not go anywhere. But
Some
no,
drill.
this time they hold true to their word, and we got to Kuwait the end of March, and we were in Iraq beginning of April. We were actually attached to Task Force Tarawa with 1st Marine Division, and when we flew in from Kuwait, they flew us into Whitehorse, right on the outskirts of Nasiriyah. And our job was to go in there and relieve the Marines that were securing the bridges over the Euphrates and allow them to continue to push through the city. Because at that point, they had only got as far as I think the northern side of the bridges. The rest of the city was still Indian territory.
What year is this now when you guys were over there?
03.
Oh, 3. You said April, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we missed the kickoff by 2 weeks just because we couldn't get any air assets to get us over there. But once we got them, flew over there, got on the ground. We weren't in Kuwait maybe 2 days. And then we were taking some CH-53s and flying into Nasiriyah. And kind of a funny story with that, we were all sitting there in the desert, lined up in our chalks, full chem suits. And platoon commander comes over to me and is like, "Hey, Sergeant Z, you're going to be a stick commander for your bird." I'm like, "Roger that, sir." He goes, "You know what that means, right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm the last one on and the first one off." He goes, "Yep." And I was just like, "All right, man, just don't let me get freaking shot in the first goddamn day."
Shit.
And flying over the desert, I remember I was right on the back of the bird looking out the ramp, and we were flying over some old rusted Hawks that were still left there from Desert Storm. And as we were closing in, crew chief is looking around, and he gives us the signal, 2 minutes and then 30 seconds, and we get everybody locked and loaded on there. And my one gunner that I was sitting next to, his name was Shane Manny. He was a corporal.
Had they caught Saddam at this point already, or
No.
they still had not caught him? Okay.
No, they haven't even gotten to Baghdad yet. They were still
Okay.
moving up from the south. But Shane Manny, he was a corporal. He was one of the best gunners I ever had. He was sitting next to me, and I remember we just looked at each other like, "Here we go, man. This is it." And we fully expected green tracer fire and all this other crap coming up at us, because we knew at that time Nasiriyah was the hottest spot in the whole theater of operation.
Because then they have isn't it called the Battle of Nasiriyah or some shit like
Yep.
that? Or yeah.
Yep. But as we're flying in, we start to see the ground, and we see some vehicles down there, and we see some people moving around. No one's firing at us. And then we're like, wait a minute. It's kind of look like Marine vehicles. Those are our tanks down there. Those are our trucks. Wait a minute. No, we're just landing at a Marine base here. Here we landed on this abandoned Iraqi barracks that was taken over by Task Force Tarawa. They're using it as a base of operations outside of the city. So we were already like, okay, this is a good start. No one's shooting at us yet, so we're doing pretty good here. But we stayed there for one night, and then they trucked us into the city. And let me tell you, this is military mentality to the fullest here. They trucked us in on open 5 tons, open back 5 tons.
Oh, shit.
We threw all our gear in the back, and we had an entire company try to fill in. I think we had 7 vehicles. So we were talking about 130 Marines trying to fit in 7 vehicles. We had guys that were elbow to elbow in the back, rifles pointing
Yeah,
out.
you fucking maybe fit 10 on the seats in the back of one of those, maybe, right?
Nobody was sitting down. Everybody was facing outboard because we were rolling in.
Yeah, no shit.
We even had guys sitting on the roof of the cab.
Wow.
I mean, I am not lying when I say this. We look like a bunch of clown cars rolling into battle. And
fuck, they're all, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Oh, without a doubt. And to make it even better, they decided the route we were going to take into the city was right through Ambush Alley.
Oh,
right through the same corridor where that 507th Army unit got ambushed and got lit up. We drove through there. We saw the vehicle still there, and we're like, this is surreal. They couldn't figure out another way to take us into this freaking city. I, to this day, know there had to be some Iraqi with an RPG looking at us, and he couldn't even get a shot off because he's probably laughing too hard, looking at these freaking retards coming in here, sitting on their trucks like it's a goddamn clown car. We definitely had someone looking out for us, whether it is by the simple fact of how ridiculous we looked or whatever. But got in the city, set up our positions, moved across the bridges at night, and in the morning did a relief in place for the Marines that were already there.
Wow.
It was wild, man. It was like we haven't even been here 2 full days, and already this is the kind of stuff we're going to be dealing with. It's going to be a long deployment.
Feel safe? Shit, man. So what kind of like opened up shop for you guys, man? Like where you're like fucking like when it became real?
I don't know. It was probably a couple days into
where it didn't feel like you're training, right? Like, because I mean, some of this shit, you know, you get so routine with things, it almost feels like you're just training. So, like, you know, when shit finally hits the fan and you're like, holy fuck, this is real. You know, no more training. You know, when was that point for you guys?
I think it's once we got on the bridges and we were basically doing a lot of crowd control and dealing with the Iraqis that were over there. And
were the bridges still intact? And
yes.
all that? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. They were still intact. Our job was to make sure that no foot traffic or any enemy vehicles were coming across. We had to keep those routes open for the rest.
They didn't want to lose those bridges, right?
No, we were holding on to those with everything we had. But I think once we got on those bridges, the whole, this is real now. This isn't training anymore. We got to tighten it up. And that's what we did. The guys over there couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys. They were awesome. And the fact that I had guys that were barely 20 years old, 19 years old, and they considered me the old man at 28, it makes me laugh today. But the one thing I will say out of that whole deployment, and I will take this to my grave as probably the thing that I am most proud of in my life, and I honestly do not think it will ever get topped, is that we went over there with 900 Marines in our battalion. I had 20 plus Marines in my machine gun section. Everyone came home.
And that's
everybody
a beautiful thing.
Came home.
You know what's always been drilled into my head, fucking from probably boot camp, MCT, all that, is the second a machine gunner opens up shop, his lifespan's about 6 to 7 seconds.
Yep, that's
from the time that he actually presses the trigger, because obviously that, you know, 50 cals, saws, all those are super, you know, dangerous to enemy. I mean, they could mow your ass down immediately. So they want to obviously take those out. So that is very impressive numbers, especially for the time frame when you guys were over there, because you guys were over there, you know, when the shit was fucking, we're knee deep into the shit still. You know what I mean?
We were pretty fortunate. By the time we were rolling through the city, we saw some sporadic action, but it was nothing like what the Marines that were there before were dealing with. They had cleared out most of the Fedayeen that were there, and they had melted into the civilian populace. That was one thing that was really hard, is we didn't see any uniforms over there. The only uniforms we saw were thrown on the ground, because they knew if we saw them run around in uniform, they were going to get smoked. So they dropped them, melted into the populace, and it became basically a guerrilla war. They would hide behind civilians, hide behind a wall, pop off some rounds, and just melt away and
be friendly during the day, right? Like these guys would be super friendly to people, and then at night times when they always want to pop some shit off.
Yep, because they knew we weren't just going to be hosing and with them in front of civilians or behind civilians, they knew our rules of engagement better than we did. So they were using it to their advantage.
100%.
But
Yeah,
hey,
that's one thing is, yeah, we play a lot nicer than the others.
absolutely. I told my friends when I got home, it was like going over there and fighting with one arm and one leg tied behind your back.
Well, it's basically, bro. I mean, tell me no. It's practically wait till one of our guys gets shot, and then we'll retaliate. You know what I mean? But to
Yeah,
be
it's funny you say
the
that,
ones
man,
to open
because
up shop first, or it's like, no, don't do it.
yeah, they actually had our rules of engagement where you could not engage a target unless they had a weapon, it was pointed at you, and they were firing at you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
exactly. Yeah, where
after
do you go with that? Yeah,
yeah,
let's fucking
after we
wait till
got
one of
that
my
brief,
guys take one of the rounds.
yeah, after we got that brief, I pulled all my guys to the side and I said, "Look, I don't care who's carrying a weapon. I don't care if it's a woman, a child, whatever. If they even swing that in your direction, you better cut them in half because I am not telling your mother that you died because you had to wait to get shot at before you engaged the enemy." I said,
Yeah.
I will go to bat for you for that 100%. You are not dying for something stupid like that.
Nope. Yeah, and you know what, man? You guys should pride yourself in the numbers you were able to take back home. I mean, uh, that makes a huge difference when you're able to make it back with everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And going back to that, before we left Harrisburg to go down to North Carolina and catch a plane over there, we had what we call the family day, where all our family could come in and hang out with us for the day and kind of see what goes on. And I lost count of how many mothers, girlfriends, and wives were coming up to me and said, "Hey, Sergeant Z, you look after my son, you look after my husband, my boyfriend. Can you please make sure he comes home?" And all I could do is say, "Yes, ma'am." And that sat with me the whole time I was over there. It was
It's
probably
not a guaranteed promise. You know what I mean?
it's not a guarantee, but let me tell you, I was going to do my damnedest to make sure it happened because I came to terms for myself. I was like, look, if I go over there and I'm not meant to come back, it doesn't matter how many helmets I wear, how many flak jackets I wear, or how deep I dig the hole. If I'm not
When
meant to
it's
come
that
home, it's
time to
going to
take that
happen.
round or that, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to happen. If the man upstairs wants me to come home, he's going to get his way.
Right.
But if I can do whatever it takes to make sure my guys get back home to their loved ones, that's my job. That's why I'm there. I got to look out for my boys. And like I said before, I don't know if I'll do anything in my life that I'll be more proud of than making sure every one of my boys came home in one piece.
Well, and that's got to be even harder too, because you guys were a reserve unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with the reserve units, what a lot of people don't realize is that these people kind of come from the same communities, same, general area. And like you said, you get to know their families a little bit more. Where sometimes when we're, active duty, when you're in active duty, some people are way far away from their family and homes that they can't even talk to them. So you guys have a little bit more of an intimate thing. So like I said, it could have been a different type of homecoming for you guys, man, when you guys were actually coming home, had you not brought everybody home. You know what I mean?
Right. It was something else, man. And it was a very close knit community. I mean, basically every one of us, we were from the PA area. There was a couple guys that were from out of state and all that, but you got to know each other really well. But even with the reserves, I mean, people talk about, well, you just do it 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks over summer. Very true. But before we deployed to Iraq, we were full-time Marines for the entire year. And they basically got us as much training as they possibly could. We were 100 miles an hour and running damn near every day in North Carolina or out in California when we were doing desert and mountain training out there.
Well, I think a lot of us had to shut the fuck up is when the war happened, right? Because to be honest with you, the reserve units were fucking probably over there more than a lot of the active duty units were. And
Mhm.
they had to go over there and relieve a lot of these active duty members, and ended up staying over there and doing a lot of rotations.
Yeah, I think that was a war where reserve units were used more than any time in military history.
Yeah, 100%. And that definitely, I think, a lot of people had a different, newfound respect for a reservist because, like I said, these guys ended up having to come in and do some long stints.
Right, and some guys, they did multiple tours. I mean, 2,
Yep.
3, 4,
Yep.
even more. It all
Yep.
depends on how long they stayed in and
Right.
what units they went to.
Oh yeah. I
It
know
was
that's
it
no
was
joke.
wild. It was a wild time, man, and, I wouldn't trade it for the world. The experiences I had over there, the good, the bad, and the very ugly, uh, made me appreciate everything we have back here today, and I tell everybody, "Look, all the stuff I've seen in my life right now, I got a roof over my head, I got food in my fridge, and I got a bed to sleep in. That's more than I had at some points in my life. I got nothing to complain about."
Yeah, man. And so, when you got out, bro, did you have to go through any kind of separation type stuff where uh kind of had felt, isolated, or were you able to kind of get back into the swing of things kind of relatively easy? I
Uh,
mean, I guess being a reserve unit, you were kind of used to leaving, coming back, all those things. So
mhm.
the transition out might have been a little bit different for someone like you yourself, but I mean, how did that actually look for you?
It was a little different. I mean, from '02 to '03, I mean, pretty much those 2 years, I was back on full-time, uh, active duty status
Yeah,
again.
right.
Uh, and when I got out, still makes me laugh. I still remember the first sergeant coming up to me and said, "Hey, Sergeant Z, your enlistment's coming up. You think about re-enlisting? You're in the zone for staff sergeant. That rocker would look really good on you." I'm like,
I'm trying to
"Yeah, it
talk you
would,
into that
but
shit, huh?
yeah, it would, but you know what? I think I'm ready to start a new chapter in my life." I had graduated college almost 2 years ago, and I was like, "I worked hard to get that degree. I want to put it to use now." Wouldn't change anything for my Marine Corps career. Some of the best and worst times of my life, but now is time to move on to something new. And
So did you do 6 years in total, or
actually, in total with reserves and full time, it was 11 years.
oh shit, no shit. Okay, 11 years. Gosh
Yeah,
damn.
I officially got my honorable discharge in July 2004.
Wow. Okay. That's funny because yeah, I got out in 2004 as well, February 2004. But you definitely did a little bit longer than me.
Yeah,
So
just a wee bit.
yeah.
Got a little salt falling off me
Damn
still.
near yeah, because what you were almost coming in with towards the end of Desert Storm ish,
Yeah,
or right? Or
Desert Storm was ending as I was doing, like, the MEPS and all that other kinda stuff.
oh yeah, shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the DIs I had, they were Desert Storm vets and, guys I, eventually met up with on the carrier and some other units, some old gunnies, staff sergeants and all that, they were over there in the desert too.
So you got to get a pair of digis then, huh?
Actually, we had those coffee stain ones you had behind you when we went to the desert.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
they
what we use. This was all what we all had
Yeah.
over there, except for the new guys, the boots. You could always tell who the boots were because they had the digis.
Oh, now hold on there, partner. They weren't all boots because, when we put those things on, those things felt like freaking sandpaper to us. So
And so you
we
guys would wear them.
we had one guy who did a little, expedition for us before we got sent over the desert, and he went down to the PX and he picked up a bunch of digital uniforms for us. All we had to do is give him the size we need. And I had one pair of digis. And let me tell you, I wore those things the whole time over there because those things felt like a pair of pajamas compared to those issue desert uniforms.
Yeah,
Those
these
things,
ones.
oh God, those things
I could
sucked.
yeah, I could feel the cardboard niche now, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Digis were just a whole new level of comfort. The
And
only
you didn't have to fucking press them, man.
exactly. The only thing that sucked was after you wore them for a while, you had to clean them. And when we were over there, that consisted of going to the canal or the river. You got your PT gear on, you got your flak and helmet on, and you go down there with your
This
buddy.
is like some boot camp shit, man. Back in the
Oh,
scrubbing area doing
oh,
laundry.
this is beyond boot camp, man. You go down there with your bar of soap, you dunk your camis in the river, soap them up, get them nice and sudsy, dunk them in again, and you lay them on a rock to dry out. Oh yeah, fun times. I'll never bitch about doing laundry again. The washer does all the work.
Yeah, no kidding. My gosh. Yeah, those days of the scrub brushing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys even had to go take it another step further, man. And I mean, the river is only not that clean either, so
No, it wasn't, but we didn't have much choice of what we could use. So you just kind
it
of
was
went to
clean as shit for you guys, though, right?
you did what you had to do, man. I mean, uh, we were living like freaking savages over there for those first few months. I mean, hell, it was 2 months of living on a concrete floor in an abandoned house or a hole in the sand. It wasn't until the middle of May, I believe, before we slept off the ground, and that was on a cot. And that felt like sleeping into Hilton for us.
And that's why, I mean, some of these homeless veterans don't have a problem sleeping on the streets, man.
No, it's what they're used to.
Right? They fucking lived like that before.
Yeah, it's crazy,
These
man.
streets are probably a little bit cleaner, though. Shit.
Well, it depends on the city you're living in, man. Hell,
Well, that's true. I'm off at the outskirts of LA, dude. So would you tell me
yeah,
about that?
hell, that might be worse than Nazaria at the time.
No shit, right? uh, man, yeah. So when you got out, bro, like did you start pursuing your career in designing and all that? And
Yeah, pretty much. I started forming resumes and sending them out to places and businesses that were looking for a designer. And I was trying to keep it somewhat close to home. And fortunately, I was able to find a job down in Dover, Delaware at the Speedway.
Hmm.
They had a team of designers down there and looking to add one more. And I didn't know jack or shit about NASCAR except they drove in a circle and Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. That's what I knew.
the big
But
names, yeah.
but it was sports related. I love sports, and I thought there could be worse ways to start your career as a graphic designer than in the sports worlds. So I sent my stuff down to them. They asked for an interview. I drove down there and sat down there with their chief graphic designer and manager of Dover Motorsports, and they were talking to me about my experiences and what I bring to the table on that. And I had one little zinger for him at the end. I said, "Look, guys, whatever you throw my way, you're not going to stress me out." I said, "Unless you're going to put me in a sandbox out behind a building, kick sand in my face, and shoot over my head, you're not going to see me sweat." And
Yeah,
the look,
I've been under pressure before a little bit.
yeah, just a little bit. And the looks I got from both of them were absolutely priceless. I wish I could have taken a picture of it. I think after I told them that, they're like, "Yeah, I think this guy can handle what we're going to throw his way." So I was there for a couple years, and it was great. Never been to a NASCAR race before, and working at the track, they had us designated as track photographers during race weekend.
Hmm.
And that was pretty cool because we had access everywhere. We were into pits, we were into trailers, we were anywhere we wanted to go just to
Now,
get some
were you
photographs.
familiar with doing photography and stuff like that at this point?
I mean,
Or
I dabbled in it and took like a course in college and all that. And, having an eye as an artist, it kind of helps having an eye for photography as well.
right?
And we hung out with some other like official track photographers and all that, and they kind of gave us the scoop on, where to stand and where to shoot and who's coming down the pike and all this kind of stuff. So it was very educational and also pretty wild considering you're looking up in the stands and there's more people in the stands at that racetrack than the entire population of the city of Dover. and every single one of them would probably trade their mother to be in your place down inside the pits than them sitting up in the stands. So it was wild. It was a great first experience. But then I moved out of there and came over to the DC area and started working over here for a couple years with a publishing company. But unfortunately, I got let go when the market crashed in '08. They were laying people off, and I became one of the early victims of that.
Oh, shit.
And nobody was really hiring designers at the time. And I decided to invest in myself. And that's when I started my company, Double Dog Graphix. I figured if I'm going to invest in anything, nothing better than invest in yourself. So I started coming up with ideas. It started off with designing T-shirts. And at the time, you couldn't go online and not see some kind of T-shirt business that were selling military style shirts. And I always looked at them and I'm like, you know what? I think I could do a better job. So I wanted to put my skills to use and started designing some apparel. And
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. And as my business grew and I gained more clients and they started asking me to do more custom work for them, like designing shirts for them or designing posters or brochures or whatever, it started to slowly grow. And even though I was not making a lot of money at the time, it was a very slow process. I enjoyed what I was doing, and seeing the customers happy with the products that I was providing for them, kept me going and wanted to keep on doing this. And I always tell people, if you're going to start your own business, don't expect to be able to retire after doing it like 3, 4, or 5 years. It is a long, arduous process, and there are going to be some years where you're not into black, you're in the red. You're going to lose money. But you got to ask yourself,
gotta love it.
Do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you willing to put in the work to be your own boss? And if you have to kind of hesitate before you answer that, I'm like, don't get into it. It's the same answer I give people when they come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're a Marine." Yeah, I'm thinking about joining the Marines. I'm like, okay, great. Let me ask you a question before you sign any paperwork. I said, are you 100% sure this is what you want to do? Or are you 99.9% sure this is what you want to do? And every time I say that, they look at me like I got two heads. And I say, you hesitated, don't do it. They're like, what do you mean? I said, you cannot have a doubt in your mind. This is what you want to do. If you want to join the military, great. But don't join the Marines. Go join the Army, Navy, Air Force. If you just want to join the military to get the GI Bill, go to one of those branches, because they're not going to send you to a faraway land where you get to meet interesting people and they shoot at you. You're going to sit behind a desk, never leave the country, collect your GI Bill, and you go to school. Great. More power to you, man. Mm-hmm. We all don't have to do it the same way.
We need those kind of people too, right?
Yes, we do, because they support people like us.
Yep, 100%.
Somebody's got to do the fighting.
Shit, right. Someone's got to put those rounds down range
effectively. Don't forget that. Effective fire down range.
Shit, man.
But I absolutely love what I do. Currently, I work full-time for a company as a graphic designer besides running my business. So I'm looking at a computer screen no less than 10, 12 hours a day. But let me tell you, brother, I absolutely love what I do.
Well, that's good.
And it's the reactions I get from my clients, the emails I get when they receive their prints or shirts in the mail, and they cannot say enough good things about the quality, the time it took to get it to them, and the overall customer service. Because that is one thing I absolutely pride myself on. I want to treat my clients the same way I want to be treated. So I make sure they always know what the status of their order is, if there are any problems with it, um, where is it going, if there's a delay. I want to keep you in the loop because that's what I would want somebody to do for me, especially if they're putting the money into this project that I would be, because some of it's not cheap. I do my best to give a veteran discount here and there because we always got to watch each other's backs, man, because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But also, I want to give them a little bit of hookup because I don't want to break their bank on one project, and I want them to keep on coming back to
Come
me.
back. Yeah.
There is two intricate words when you run your own business: repeat customer.
Right. And that's a big thing though, man. I mean, that's the difference between to me in the long run a successful business versus just a business that's out there, because someone that keeps coming back, they obviously like what you're doing, or they start sending people to you, right? So word of
Right.
mouth is a big thing too. So
Yeah. That has become a big thing over the past few years. I'm getting emails out of the blue saying, "Hey, I'm a friend of such and such, and you did this project for them, and it was really cool, and we're looking for something similar. What can you do for us?" And I'm like, "Hey, thanks for reaching out. I'm happy to help you. Let's set up a conference call, and you can tell me what you're looking for, and I can tell you what I can provide." It's all about the customer service, man. I mean, it is not a hard concept, and it kind of blows my mind where I see people dropping the ball on this. Just like Patrick Swayze said in Roadhouse, be nice.
the other thing too, man, is if you make something affordable for someone,
Hmm.
they have money to do something again, or they feel like they can do it again. But if you feel
Right.
like you break their bank, they're like, "Gosh, damn,
No,
dog, that was a little pricey for me, and I only
no,
use that thing so many times or something."
I'm not looking to break anybody's bank, man. I make money off of this stuff, great. But you know what I really love is the fact that my artwork is hanging on somebody's wall.
Yeah,
It's kind of like my legacy, so to speak.
right.
And actually, I had a guy reach out to me a few weeks ago, fellow Devil Dog. He saw a graphic I created for the anniversary of Operation Phantom Fury. And he asked me, do you have this available in a print? Because he saw it on social media, which is what I created for, and some of his buddies reposted it. He goes, "Dude, that's freaking awesome, man. I would love to have this as a print." And I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, I didn't build it as a print, but I can hook you up with one. I just have to recreate it." And I gave him a price and how much I'd have to charge for shipping and all that. And he was like, "Yeah, it works for me, man." And he later told me he was with 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, who was actually over there during the Second Battle of Fallujah. And I was like, "Okay, brother, I got you. For somebody who went through that hell, they're getting something good." And I made sure it was top quality. I told him I had some issues with the printing process of that. I said, "Look, this is taking a little longer than I expected, but unless I look at this thing and I am willing to hang it up on my wall, I am not sending this to you and charging you for it." And he was like, "Hey, man, you do what you need to do. I'm looking forward to getting it." So, hey, anytime I run into a fellow vet, especially a fellow brother or sister, I always try and go a little extra mile to take care of them, knock a couple bucks off the price because, hey, we all like saving a little bit of money, but at the same time, the quality of work is not going to change. That is like my signature. My work is a reflection of me. And I'll be goddamned if you're going to hang something on my wall that you're not proud of.
Yeah, and fucking, I know you're a Marine too. With that mentality, you pride yourself in what you do, and man, I mean, that's just a Marine through and through.
Oh, absolutely. You can take him out of the core, can't take the core out of him.
That's right. That's fucking 100%. So, if someone wanted to use you to do, to use your services, kind
Mhm.
of walk us through how it goes down, bro.
You can go onto my website, devildogggraphics.com, and there's a place where you can send an email directly to me and explain what you're looking for. what your budget is, what kind of turnaround time you're looking to have this, and we just go from there. I do my best to answer an email within that same day, if not 24 hours later. I get a lot of emails coming in, plus working full time and having a social life every once in a while. Sometimes have to wait till the next day to answer an email, but I will get back to you. That is a promise, because if you're taking the time to reach out to me and you like what I create, I am not going to leave you hanging.
And here it is, folks. You just go to the homepage, boom,
Yep. And
all the way down at the bottom, and shoot them an email.
And if you scroll to the top, if you're interested in seeing some of my work, you go to the gallery section and you can pick from apparel I've done in the past, book covers, business cards, corporate graphics, logos, even some fun stuff I just did for myself, like redesigning some movie posters and some social media posts. You got it all on here.
Oh, shit. Nice. Wow. I like that chesty puller one. Eesh. Man, these are nice.
Yeah, all these.
So you do all these, huh? You put these out on social media, like on Facebook and stuff? Because I feel like I've seen some of these out.
Yeah, all these are on my Instagram, Facebook, X. I do these just for the fun of it, to be honest with you, and also to bring attention to certain days throughout the year, military and historical significance, D-Day, Iwo Jima, stuff like that. So
you did these too?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm a movie buff, man. So
look at that Full Metal. All right, damn.
Yeah, the John Wick 3 one. Actually, I've printed out 2 of those for 2 friends of mine. They have those hanging in their man caves.
You can make them like poster size.
Those are poster size, brother.
Wow, fucking like the hanging up in the movie theater type kind?
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. How much does something like this go for? A Full Metal Jacket one right there.
The Full Metal Jacket one, that I would have to get sent to a print shop to do it. I don't have the ability to do that here in my home. So
that's like a local print shop that could get it sent there.
Yeah, local print shop. I've made some good contacts with my time over here in the DC area. There's guys that always provide good quality and some good turnaround time. I would say after all is said and done, with shipping and cost of print and time it takes me to create it, you're probably looking at maybe 150.
Okay, nice.
Now, if you hit me up and you're like, I really love this movie, can you do a poster of it for me? I would see if it was feasible to do. It all depends on what kind of imagery I can find for you. Once I do the research and see how long it's going to take and what I can do, I would give you an estimate, because normally when I charge for custom work, it's around $50 an hour. I don't want to break your bank, but at the same time, my time is very valuable to me, and I'm just not going to throw it out the window. But at the same time, I guarantee you will get the best quality work I can provide for you.
Outstanding. So you do like flyers and stuff like that, like type things for
flyers
and stuff like that as well, huh?
Yep, flyers, book covers. If you go up to like the corporate media, corporate graphics, one-page flyers, pop-up banners.
Oh shit! Okay.
Binder covers.
Wow.
Whatever you would need, I could pretty much provide for you. Now, getting it printed more or less would have to fall onto you, but I would provide all the files that the printer would need to have a high quality print.
Nice. Yeah, because that does matter, especially when it comes to sizes and stuff like that, right? The pixels and all that stuff, it has a big thing to do with, so it doesn't look stretched out or,
Oh, that is one thing that makes me cringe every time I see somebody trying to resize an image and it gets elongated or squished. Oh God, it just sends shivers through me.
Yeah, this is awesome. Cool, man. Definitely do some great work.
Yeah. And if you click all the way to the right for the online store, you can see some of the stuff that I sell directly.
Oh shoot. Wow. Man, I'm liking these black and white looking drawings.
Yeah, those are, I wouldn't say my bread and butter, but I've gotten a lot of comments on those, and
Yeah, dude.
those are all hand drawn.
No shit.
Yeah,
You drew these or
yeah, yeah.
what?
The image ain't coming up on the screen, but I think you need to click on it again.
Wow. Let's see if I can get. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah,
Fucking amazing. Good job, man.
yeah. The three military
Yeah.
ones, they took me an average of 30 hours each to draw.
30 hours. Shit.
Yeah, and then, the picture of the elephant there, that was the big one, that took me 47 hours.
Wow. So, gosh damn, pencil? You use pencil on all this?
Graphite pencil, partner.
Sheesh.
Mhm.
You are an artiste, bro. Oh,
Yeah,
I don't think I'm showing this. There we go.
yeah, yeah, there you
There
go.
we go. I wasn't
Yeah,
showing it. I'm all sitting here fucking in awe. Ooh, here you guys go. Now you can see how cool this is.
yeah, uh,
Gosh
I've had
damn. The dude, I'm telling you, you got fucking some major you got all kinds of just like you brought up like the little sand, and I mean just you didn't miss anything, bro.
yeah, it's kind of, a curse and a blessing. I am very anal retentive when it comes to my drawings. If it doesn't look like the photograph I used, I'm not happy with it. It I want it to be basically a color photo that gets turned into a black and white photograph, but it's all graphite pencil.
The amount of detail
Oh,
is
yeah.
just amazing, bro. I mean, just even down to the bootlaces and everything. I
Mhm.
mean, you if gosh damn, bro. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get.
I've had
I guess you don't get hand cramps that much anymore, huh?
no comment.
it's yeah, it's probably getting worse nowadays.
Uh, yeah,
Um,
getting longer in the tooth, partner. But, yeah, when I've gone to certain events and I've sold those prints, I always get the person that comes up to me like, "Wow, this is really cool. If I gave you a picture of me, could you draw me?" And I'm like, "Nope." They're like, "No?" I said, "Nope, I don't do commission work." I said, "2 reasons. 1, I like my free time, and I like having a life, and I like my sleep. The drawings you're looking at now took me an average of 30 hours to do. I charge 50 bucks an hour. Do the math." And
yeah,
then the light bulb comes on in their head. They're like, "Oh," y they're like, "Oh, it's that much?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I wasn't gonna do this for you for free. It's I'm not that kind-hearted."
that's a lot of work, and not only
It
that,
is.
but
Now,
just the
if I
detail
was
you put into it too is amazing. And like you said, bro, your mental state too got to be there too, because you're so
focused.
anal retentive on it that you want the detail that you
Mhm.
can. Who knows? It could be longer than 30 hours because you're like, it doesn't look perfect to me, and
Exactly.
probably to them, they're like, holy shit, this is a masterpiece, but you're like, oh,
Nope.
it's just not
Nope.
right there, that little fucking part,
Yep.
you know?
You're exactly right, man. I will focus on that little part that just drives me crazy. No one else would see it, but I'd be like, "I'm not selling this. This is a trash, man. I wouldn't even hang it on my wall, so time to start over." But hey, if I was independently wealthy and retired, I'd have absolutely no problem chaining myself to my desk and doing, commission work for somebody who wanted a drawing like that. But like I said, working full time right now, and I do enjoy my sleep and having a social life. So until then, I might do a drawing or two in the upcoming future, but it's just going to be one that I turn into a print and just sell those. I'll keep the original.
Yeah, bro, I don't blame you because
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, you just got to be you just got to be in that whole probably mindset that you want to do that,
Oh,
and because
absolutely.
and then I mean, it's got to be hard to like walk away from it at some point in time. Like, at what point's enough, right? Like,
Right.
I've done 3 hours. All right, let me walk away because I got 27 fucking more hours to deal with after this. you know, I gotta imagine that's got to be kind of rough because I know I'm one of those people when I start something, I have a really hard time of like, all right, let me put this to the side. I'll come back and finish it later. Do it, I want to do it all, like put a puzzle in front of me, 1,000 piece. I'm gonna probably crush that in that day.
No, you're right, man. It's also you got to know when to say when. And sometimes I'll be on a good streak. It'll be maybe 3, 4, 5 hours. I'm knocking this out, but I'm like, okay, time to take a break. Let's walk away from it and come back and look at it and see if there's anything that I'm not liking about that I need to change. Uh, the
I think you
other,
start to realize that's a good way to do it too, right? Because when you come back, you're rested and your mind's like, oh shit, okay. I
yeah,
was getting kind of sloppy at the end there or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things when I was picking the subject matter for those drawings, I wanted a picture that had kind of a dynamic pose, would transfer well from a color photo into a black and white, and also the subject had some anonymity to it. Like you cannot see his entire face. There was some shadow. He's wearing sunglasses or whatnot, because that way it could be anybody's brother, anybody's son, anybody's father, or whatnot. It wasn't exactly who that person in photograph was. It could be anyone, which makes it more susceptible for somebody to buy a print of it, because they're not just going to buy a photo of Joe Shit the Ragman and put them on their wall, uh, unless it's could be somebody that they know or care about, and also looks really cool as well. So when I was searching for stuff, I took days sometimes just trying to find something. Okay, would I want this on my wall? That was the
Yeah.
bottom line. Would I hang this on my wall? And if I wasn't going to do that, the search continues.
Yeah, yeah, and the hard part with a lot of that stuff is it's all subjective to what the eye likes, right?
Mhm.
Your eye might like this, and their eye may not like that. That's the hard part too. But I think you kind of know overall like what genre you're kind of shooting for, type
Mhm.
thing, right? And what audience you're kind of drawing for as well,
Yeah, you're not going to please everybody.
right?
There's no way. I've come to that realization very quickly in this line of work. You can try, but you're going to drive yourself freaking batshit.
Yeah, you're sitting here thinking, "Holy shit, this is one of the best pieces I've ever done," and give it to the client. They're like, I don't like this, this, and that. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
been there, done that. And you know what? When they're paying, you make the changes.
yep, that's right. That's
You
right,
got to
man.
do it, no matter if your insides are twisting around. Like
Like,
why?
that doesn't look right. Ah, all right, I'll
Oh,
add it anyways.
oh, I've had a screaming match at the wall every once in a while because wasn't happy with what the client wanted changed, and I thought they were crazy for it. But you know what? In the end, they pay for it, so they're getting what they want.
100%. So, Dan, what's like the big end game for you, bro? Like, what would you like the perfect world for you to be in the next 5 years or so? Where do you see yourself going?
Oh, perfect world would be my side business growing enough where it becomes my full-time job. I can do it anywhere in the country. All I would need is the internet and a post office close to me. Uh, Grow it enough where I could hire designers and I would be the creative director. I give them the project, they send it to me. I send it back to them with the changes I think it needs to get done. And when I'm happy with what they've done, I send it to the client. They send me the recommendations back and I send it to my designers. I will still design till I'm freaking 90 or in the ground because I love doing it. But I do like the idea of being my own boss and being the boss of other people. Not to sound conceited or anything, but I think I'd be a pretty cool boss to work for. I have worked with some really great people in the past, and I've worked for some really shitty people in the past. And I have taken that knowledge of what to do and what not to do, and that is exactly how I treat my people. We're going to work hard, but let me tell you, we're going to play hard too, and you're going to get some good benefits and some good perks. Because if I find a great designer and I like the way they do their stuff, I'm going to hold on to you with everything I got. And ultimately, I would love to move to a nice secluded cabin somewhere out, not totally out in the sticks, but somewhere with some acreage around me, a nice couple acres, a dog to run around with, and a good woman next to my side. I do have one of those right now, and she is awesome, absolutely.
That's
And
good because
who
we
knows?
need those.
Yes, we
To
do.
put
She
up
is.
with the Marine, you know what I mean? Shit.
She puts up with me, and she is one hell of a supporter. I couldn't ask more from her.
That's great.
But that is my ultimate goal: is to grow my side business where it is my full time job, and I can employ people and treat them in a manner where they know this is how you treat people, and hopefully it will carry over one day where they start their own business and they will learn from being my employee on how to treat their employees.
That's awesome. You know, based on just, talking to you, bro, I see that this is something that you want and I think you can get it. You know what I mean? I think if the power is in your hands 100%, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I know that there's always other things that play into it, but I know you're the kind of person that'll keep working towards it. If you really want it bad enough, it's going to end up coming your way, no doubt. I,
Absolutely, brother. I can taste it, and I know it's close.
and you
It's
just
just
have a passion for it, bro. And that's the other thing that it takes is you just have that passion, and just like you said, you're basically going to design till you die. So
absolutely.
uh, that's you got to have a complete passion for something to want to go to the duration of life with it. A lot of people do things for the necessity to get by, and once they retire, they don't want to fucking put something behind them and never do it again.
No,
But it
when I
sounds
when
like
I
you want to
retire,
keep
man, I'm
going.
still going to be doing this.
Yeah.
And it's that old adage, man. Once you find something you love to do, you never work a day in your life.
Yep. That's it, man. And it's a different kind of work when you love doing what you do, right? It's not so much of a chore, and it's not so hard to like get up and go to work and push yourself through the day. You're kind of motivated, like, oh shit, I can't wait to go, finish up this design or put some more work into this. It's coming to life, and and then you got to go back and forth with clients too, right? You got to go back. Hey, here's kind of the first go at it. What's your take, and if they have some input, then you go back but that's kind of cool too, right? You just get that interaction with others.
That's right. I want to know what is in their head. What's that visual they're picturing? Like when they're want a logo for their company, they're just starting.
Yeah, that you
I
need them
al-
to paint that picture for you,
exactly,
right?
exactly. I want to take that image that's in your head and I want to bring it to life and give you a logo you're going to be proud of and you cannot wait to put on business cards, hats, t-shirts, whatever, and you're just going to put it out there for everybody to see. And when people say, "Man, really like your logo. Who did that for you?" You're like, "Well, let me tell you about this guy I know." And it just goes from there, man.
Over at DoubleDogGraphics.com.
That's right.
Yeah. So, anybody that's listening to this on the audio side, if you guys would like to go check out Dan's work, you can go check out DevilDogGraphics.com. That's DevilDogGraphics.com. And Dan, bro, I appreciate you, man, coming on and taking the time to talk, about all the things that you talked to us about, your experiences and what you got going on. I'm sure we could even go further, for more hours. But I really appreciate you, bro, coming on and taking the time. Is there any last things you would like to say before we head out?
Oh, Brian, I appreciate you tremendously, brother, reaching out to me and offering me this opportunity. This has been awesome, man. This is actually the first time I've ever been on a podcast. So you
Hell
broke my,
yeah,
you
man.
broke my cherry today, bud.
I love it, bro. And you're my first episode for season 3, and I'm glad that I popped that cherry, man. You know,
Yeah,
I
this
can.
was awesome, man. I had a great time talking to you, bud, and I am looking forward to staying in contact with you. And anytime you would like me to jump back on here and talk about some more experiences, more than happy to do it, brother. And I will be sure to pass on to everybody I talk to about jumping on your podcast and checking you out.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that. And I will be adding your website to my website. So that way it's just another place that people can find you and click on it and get there. You know, just because I love my brothers and sisters. And I just, this podcast is all about getting your guys' stories out, man, and all the great things that you guys still are doing. I think that, people got to go out there and utilize people that are here in the USA, making things here in the USA, doing things here in the USA. And not only that, but a badass that served your country, as a United States Marine. Dan, you're a badass dude. I thank you for your service. I thank you for all the great things you're doing still for our brothers and sisters and veterans, and keep doing you, bro. And I can't wait to see you be that the big time CEO of your own corporation and overlooking all the things, man. But thank you once again, Dan.
Hey, Brian, thank you, brother, and Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, brother.
Rah.
All right, friends and fam. Well, that's going to wrap up another great episode. But before we head out of here, I want you guys to check out a great radio station where we play veterans or family members of veterans. It's got a country station and a rock station. So stand by, and then we'll say goodbye.
Welcome to Veteran Voice Radio, where we honor the brave and celebrate their stories through music. Tune in to two incredible stations, Ranger Rockwave and Semper Fi Country. On Ranger Rockwave, experience the raw energy of alternative rock featuring talented musicians who are veterans and military family members. Their powerful stories and unforgettable tunes will inspire you and keep you rocking. Switch over to Semper Fi Country, where the heart of country music meets the spirit of service. Enjoy heartfelt ballads and toe-tapping tunes from veterans and their families sharing their journey through song. Join a community that honors those who serve. Veteran Voice Radio, music with a mission. Discover Ranger Rockwave and Semper Fi Country at veteranvoiceradio.com, or you can also download the app on Apple or Google and let the stories of our heroes resonate through your speakers.
All right, fam. Well, guys, I hope 2025 is going to be your year. Actually, I don't hope. It is going to be your year. 2025, let's make it our bitch. You know how we say it on the show. Don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.